Hello, welcome to the Sunday Gardener, and today we're indoors. I'm not in the greenhouse and I'm not in the garden, and the reason for that is because it's freezing cold. And today we're going to look at ways to propagate herbs cheaply without germinating, without the need to buy seeds. Lots of people find seeds difficult to germinate, and some herbs such as parsley are notoriously difficult, plus the fact you have to buy lots of packets of seeds. It can be quite expensive, and then you've got hundreds of seeds that you don't need. So there are cheaper and easier ways to make herbs. We like cooking with herbs, but they are expensive and times are tight. So I've got here a parsley and coriander plant which I bought from the supermarket today, and they were £3, and they're not going to make many meals, 2 or 3 meals and they'll be gone. One of the easiest ways to make herbs is to take a cutting and root it in water, and some herbs root particularly well. So this is a mint herb, and I put it in water probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago, just a couple of stems, and it's produced a whole raft of roots, which means it's now ready to be potted on. And I'm going to put it on top of the pots, and we're going to have a zoom in so you can see in close up all the roots that have developed around this plant. So in close up you can see the massive roots that the mint plant has developed, and once it has all these roots it's ready to be potted on into compost and grown. It's really easy to do, nothing more than cut a plant, take a cutting, drop it in water and leave it there. And another plant that roots equally well in water is basil. Here's a close-up of a basil plant. Now this has been in water less time than the mint, but you can see very healthy roots coming off the stems. And again, what we're going to do is just pop those up and you will have mint and basil for free. In each jam jar of water there are 2 or 3 stems of the herb, each of which can be potted up separately to make a plant. So this will keep you supplied all summer. It will take 2 or 3 weeks when they've been potted up to get underway, but they will grow into sturdy little plants. So next we're just going to look at how you pot them up. So what we have here is regular peat-free compost, and I filled the pot up, just tapped it down gently, and I'm going to carefully separate out a tangle of roots. It won't matter too much if they get a little bit split up, but you can see really good roots. Didn't bring my dibber in, so I'll just have to use my fingers for that. A lovely mint smell coming off this. Make a hole, gently entice the roots into the hole, top up the pot, so you can see I've potted it up, give it a little misting with water and set it on a windowsill. Now mint is hardy, but it's freezing cold out there, so I'm not going to take it from the warmth of the kitchen into the freezing cold outside, although this will go outside in due course. If you want, you can have it outside all summer, it will be absolutely fine. And this will grow into a good plant. You'll have 3 mint plants, which is plenty mint for anyone, and that way you don't have to germinate from seed and you have a ready plant to grow on. So we can do exactly the same thing with the basil. Really good roots on this. Tuck it into the pot, top the pot up so that you've got a good level of compost in it, and again that will go on the windowsill to grow on. But basil is not hardy, so that won't be going outside for 2 or 3 months till it's much warmer. And sometimes I keep basil indoors quite a lot, depends on the weather. But you will find it grows very, very well, and you'll probably have to divide it again during the summer and pot it up again. Last year I potted up a few and it grew into a really big basil plant. I divided half of it up and gave it away because there was such a lot of basil. So that is one way of propagating herbs easily and, importantly, cheaply. Another way is to buy yourself a couple of pots like these from the supermarket. Now £1.50 a pot, that's quite a lot of money, and you can very easily, this is parsley. You can probably use half of that on each dish and it's gone. So what you can do is to take a herb pot and divide it into 2, 3 or 4 and repot. And the repotting is really important because I find, and I'm sure you do, that the compost which the plants come in from the supermarket doesn't give them longevity. They don't seem to last very long at all. So the most important thing when you divide them is to use good quality peat-free compost and grow each one on separately, and you will get 4 plants from it. So we're just going to have a look at how to do that as well. So you start by knocking the plant out of the pot. That's pretty good. That's got some good roots on it. So it's a real shame just to cut the parsley off it. It takes weeks and weeks to regrow, whereas if you have several plants on the go, you can take just a little bit off each and they will last a lot longer. So you've just got to be brutal and pull it apart. So I'm going to make it into 4. Here we go. And this is the other bit. These are all parsley plants. Try and untangle them and then pot them up. Now in the first instance I'm just going to pot them into a modest sized pot, and that encourages the plant to get its roots out and grow, and then I'll pot it on again into a larger pot and possibly again. But parsley, if you want, you can plant this out in your vegetable plot or your herb garden later on in the year once you've got it more established. So I need a little bit more compost there. Just add a little bit more compost and firm it in. And then we're going to water it, grow it on in the kitchen on the windowsill. In 2 or 3 weeks' time, you'll have a much sturdier plant, and what's more, you'll have 4 new parsley plants for your herb garden. So we're just then going to have a look at all of this potted up, and you can see how many herbs you can get from a few cuttings and a couple of plants. And it's a very cheap and easy way to raise your own herbs and avoid the complications of germinating from seed. So here we are after everything's been potted up, and you can see there's a lot more herbs than we had half an hour ago. This is the basil and the mint that came from the cuttings. This is coriander, parsley, and you can see it is a bit floppy, but it's just been repotted. Once it's had a water, time to settle, they will grow on and they make nice sturdy plants that you can have, and you will have a lot more herbs for the same price. So if you want to make yourself a cheap, quick herb garden, this is one of the ways to do it.